Have you ever celebrated something your entire life, but never asked why? Have you ever followed a tradition, repeated a ritual, or believed a story without knowing the real truth behind it? Today, I'm going to tell you something that may surprise you, or even shock you, because Christmas is not what you think it is. You know the Christmas you see today. The gifts, the lights, the decorated tree, the cozy movies, the Santa stories. But where did all this come from? Who invented these things? And why? Most importantly, what was Christmas supposed to be originally? In this English learning story, you will learn the hidden side of Christmas. A side most people never hear about. A side buried under thousands of years of change. We'll go back in time, far before shopping malls, far before Santa, far before any Christmas song was written. But first, think about this. If Christmas started today, from zero, would it look anything like it does now? The truth is deeper, stranger, older. Let's begin our journey into a world where winter was dangerous, nights were terrifying, and people had only one hope: to bring light into the darkness. And that is exactly where the real story of Christmas begins. Because long before December 25, long before Christianity, long before Santa, there was only winter. White heavy checkmark part 2. A festival older than Christmas. Before the world knew the word Christmas. Before anyone imagined a tree covered in lights. People were simply trying to survive winter. Winter thousands of years ago was not beautiful. It was terrifying. The days grew shorter. The nights stretched endlessly. Food became harder to find. Cold winds pushed people into fear. They believed winter was a battle between light and darkness. And they needed something to give them hope. So, ancient people created a celebration around the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. On this night, they believed the sun was being reborn. And after this night, the days would slowly begin to grow longer again. They celebrated by lighting fires, decorating evergreen branches, and gathering together for warmth. They danced, sang, cooked special meals, and shared stories. Sound like anything you know? Should. Because many things we now call Christmas traditions were actually created by ancient cultures who were simply trying to survive the coldest days of the year. The evergreen tree was seen as magical because it stayed alive even in winter. People brought its branches inside their homes to protect themselves from dark winter spirits. The idea of bringing green life into a dark home is thousands of years older than Christmas. And this winter celebration slowly evolved. From survival to ceremony, culture to festival. But how did this turn into Christmas? How did ancient winter traditions become one of the biggest holidays in the world? Everything changed with one empire and one decision that would rewrite history. White heavy checkmark part 3. Why December 25th? The mystery of the date. Here is one of the biggest surprises. The Bible never says Jesus was born on December 25th. So why do millions around the world celebrate Christmas on this date? To answer that, we need to travel back to the Roman Empire. The Romans loved festivals. One of their biggest celebrations was called Saturnalia. A week of joy, decorations, gift-giving, lights, and big feasts. Yes, gifts. Yes, decorations. Yes, special meals. During Saturnalia, people exchanged presents. Homes were decorated with greenery. Candles filled the streets. Work stopped. Food was shared. Everyone celebrated together. Sound similar? When Christianity began spreading in the Roman Empire, leaders faced a problem. People loved Saturnalia too much to give it up. So leaders made a bold choice. Instead of stopping the festival, they transformed it. They connected the celebration of Jesus' birth with a festival that already existed. That is how December 25th became the official date. A decision based on strategy, not history. People accepted it easily because the traditions were familiar. Lights, gatherings, decorations, gifts. They all stayed. Only the meaning changed. Christmas was born from a combination of old traditions and new beliefs. But the Christmas we know today still didn't exist yet. Something was missing. The most famous character of all. Santa Claus. White Heavy Checkmark Part 4. The real Santa Claus, not what you expect. Long before the red suit, the flying reindeer, the snow-covered workshop, Santa Claus was a quiet man helping people in need. His name was Nicholas. Saint Nicholas. He lived around 300 AD in a place that is now modern-day Turkey. Nicholas was known for one thing: giving gifts secretly to those who needed help. Not toys, not sweets, real help, life-changing help. One famous story tells of a poor father with 3 daughters. He had no money for their future. One night, Nicholas secretly dropped a bag of gold into their home. He didn't want fame. He didn't want attention. He just wanted to help. Over time, stories about him spread across Europe. Children were told, Saint Nicholas brings gifts to good children. Different cultures shaped him in different ways. The Dutch called him Sinterklaas. English speakers turned this into Santa Claus. But the Santa we know today, the big belly, the white beard, the red suit, the North Pole, was created many centuries later by artists, writers, and eventually global companies. The legend changed. The story grew. And Santa became a symbol of joy. But Santa wasn't the only tradition added later. One of the most mysterious Christmas symbols came from ancient beliefs. Tree. White Heavy Checkmark Part 5. The Christmas tree. A symbol with a dark past. Imagine ancient Europe in winter. Cold. Silent. Snow everywhere. Most trees looked dead. Branches empty. Leaves gone. But one tree stayed alive, the evergreen. Ancient people believed this tree had a special power. It stayed green even during the darkest days. To them this meant hope, life, protection. Some cultures believed the evergreen protected homes from evil winter spirits. So they hung its branches around their doors and windows. This idea slowly evolved. By the 1500s, people in Germany began decorating whole trees inside their homes. They used apples, nuts, candles, and handmade decorations. By the 1800s, the Christmas tree spread across Europe. Then America. Then the world. Today it's everywhere. Glowing lights, colorful ornaments, shining stars. But originally, the tree was not decoration. It was a symbol of survival. But Christmas didn't simply grow from traditions and symbols. It also faced a time when it almost disappeared completely. Because Christmas was once banned. White Heavy Checkmark Part 6. The Christmas ban. When Christmas was illegal. It's almost impossible to imagine. But Christmas was once considered dangerous. In the 1600s, a strict religious group called the Puritans believed that Christmas was too loud, too joyful, too wild, and too similar to ancient pagan customs. To them, Christmas was connected to celebrations they didn't approve of. So they made a shocking decision. They banned it. Shops stayed open like a normal day. Churches stayed closed. No decorations. No carols. No gatherings. Anyone caught celebrating could be fined. For nearly 20 years, Christmas disappeared in some parts of England and early America. But people missed it. They missed the warmth, the songs, the food, the joy. Slowly, secretly, people began celebrating again. First in private homes. Then in communities. Then openly. And eventually, Christmas returned. But it didn't become the Christmas we know today until one man wrote a story that changed everything. White Heavy Checkmark Part 7. The Book That Saved Christmas. In 1843, a writer named Charles Dickens wrote a short novel that transformed Christmas forever. The book was called A Christmas Carol. It told the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, a man cold in his heart and cold in his life, who discovers the meaning of kindness after visits from 3 mysterious spirits. The story exploded in popularity. People everywhere began thinking differently about Christmas. It was no longer seen as a forgotten holiday or an unruly festival. It became a day about kindness, generosity, forgiveness, family, hope. Dickens didn't just write a book. He reshaped culture. Suddenly, Christmas became a holiday focused on warmth and humanity. Writers, artists, musicians, and families embraced this new idea. And Christmas grew bigger, brighter, and more meaningful. Yet something was still missing. A shared image of Santa Claus. That missing piece was about to arrive. In a very unexpected way. White Heavy Checkmark Part 8. How Santa became the Santa you know. The modern image of Santa didn't appear magically. In the 1800s, artists began drawing a friendly, round, cheerful old man delivering gifts. Writers described him living far away, making toys and flying across the sky. But in 1931, something changed everything. A famous company used Santa in a winter advertisement. Coca-Cola. Their artist drew Santa as a big, warm, smiling man in a bright red suit with a long white beard. The world loved this version. And from that moment the image spread everywhere. Books, magazines, movies, greeting cards, toys. All used this same Santa. And soon, every child around the world imagined him the same way. The legend evolved from a quiet helper to a global symbol of joy. Christmas was now complete. Lights, trees, gifts, stories, Santa. But beyond all the decorations and traditions lies a deeper meaning. The meaning Christmas has today. White Heavy Checkmark Part 9. What Christmas really means today. Today, Christmas means different things to different people. Some celebrate it as a religious holiday. Some celebrate it as a cultural tradition. Some enjoy the family gatherings. Some enjoy the food and the lights. Some simply enjoy the feeling of the season. Christmas today is a mixture of ancient winter traditions, Roman festivals, European legends, Christian stories, modern celebrations, and global culture. But the heart of Christmas is simple. It is about bringing light into darkness. It is about coming together when life feels cold. It is about kindness, sharing, hope, and love. And even though the history is long and complex, the message remains beautiful. Christmas has become a moment when people slow down, reflect, and reconnect. And now, with everything you've learned, Christmas will never look the same again. Because now you know the truth behind it. White Heavy Checkmark Part 10, Final Message. Now you understand something few people ever learn. Christmas is not one story. It is many stories connected together across thousands of years. It is a story of ancient fears and winter celebrations. A story of Roman strategy. A story of legends and kindness. A story of writers who revived a forgotten holiday. And a story of global imagination. The Christmas we know today is older than Christianity, shaped by ancient winter rituals, transformed by empires, revived by storytellers, modernized by artists, and celebrated by millions in unique ways. So the next time you see a Christmas tree, a Santa Claus figure, a shining star, or a wrapped gift, you will know the hidden story behind it. Christmas is not what you think. It is far more mysterious, far more ancient, far more beautiful. If you enjoyed learning English through this story, and if you want more videos like this, then backhand index pointing right, like the video. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe to the channel. Backhand index pointing right, comment. More stories. Because we have many more mysteries to uncover. And many more stories to learn together.